Welcome, everybody. Very pleased to introduce Timo Brockmeyer. Timo has been involved in the project for many years. He is a DevOps and site reliability engineer that is helping to organize the German BigBlueButton community and additionally improve digital tools for teaching at universities. I've had a chance to personally work with Timo. He's basically headed up, it's kind of the German BigBlueButton Association, and has been instrumental in helping us coordinate the activities with the German community, raise funding for some of the activities. Recently, you raised 40,000 euros from German universities to help advance the work on LiveKit, integrated into BigBlueButton, which is great. And we're all sort of quite committed to making sure that BigBlueButton becomes the best platform it can be and build a community around it. So with that, Timo, I'll turn it over to you and looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you very much, Fred. Yes, BigBlueButton is a platform. I'm very excited about that, and that so many developments go into that direction at the moment, because that is actually what enables us to do what I will present right now, which is hybrid teaching with BigBlueButton. And with the subtitle, I also thank you, Fred, for always saying this. BigBlueButton is not a video conferencing tool, so I can quote it. Because that is actually the mindset that I want you to go into this talk with. So I think we all have come to know BigBlueButton over the pandemic as basically a video conferencing tool where you do online learning and you do maybe your occasional business meeting as well. And for me, it's really important for this talk, at least, to think of it not like that, but just all the other things that BigBlueButton is as well, and that BigBlueButton can do. Because I think then in the classroom, it can really be of help as well, not in an online setting. And this is what I want to show you now, and how I think it would be possible to do it. So I will talk a little bit about these two things. So I've structured the talk so that in these two parts. First, I will talk a little bit about the vision and the motivation, just the abstract things of all of this, and then in the second part, a little bit of how we could actually achieve this with the technology we have and what is still needed. Because this is my disclaimer here, we are not yet there. So this is all work in progress, and there's still some work that needs to be done. So let me start with vision and motivation. What is hybrid teaching? It's, in most definitions, it's the combination of face-to-face learning and online learning. So you have participants both remote, online, and in the classroom, in the physical classroom. It also gives flexibility to the students to learn in then that environment that they prefer. But for me, it would be very important in this case that we are talking about today, also to think about what is if no remote participants are there. Would it be also useful? Because I think this, for the platform part of BigBlueButton, is also very important. And in that sense, can BigBlueButton be basically the real-time component of the learning management system? So basically what Moodle does for asynchronous and persistent learning, can BigBlueButton be the engagement and integration platform for all of these tools in a real-time setting? So both online and in person, in place. So when we think of the physical classroom and how it, at least how it looked like, is something like this. You have the teacher in front with your whiteboard. You have the students. You have your documents where you can write your notebooks and all of this. And BigBlueButton, of course, emulates this, as we all know, so that it somehow brings this to the online world. And this is what we needed during the pandemic as well. What made BigBlueButton such a huge success during that time is that you could transfer this model just online, and you could do remote learning like this, and then so we got used to a lot of these tools, I think. Today, physical classrooms actually do not always look like this. In many settings, especially in university context, I think it starts to look a little bit more like this as well. The students have their devices, maybe an iPad, some form of tablet or mobile device, or a laptop. So they actually do not always, or most of them nowadays do not write in physical notebooks, but they write in some notebook that is already on their computer. The teacher maybe has a smartboard at hand, at least a beamer where they show the presentation. So we already are getting a lot of devices, digital devices in the classroom, and this is where the whole idea comes from. What if all of this that we were getting used to during the pandemic, we could bring back now into the physical classroom? So today, I think we have much more in-person lessons in the physical classroom. But like I said, we got used to having all of these tools around. So these shared notes, you have the whiteboard where you can collaborate. You have other tools from your online learning system that maybe you would want to work together in the classroom. And with BigBlueButton, nowadays we have a very well-known UI, because at least we have this experience with our students that they know how to work with BigBlueButton nowadays. They did it for a long time, and for them it has become just natural to work with it. And so we thought, when we want to integrate all of this in the classroom, again, like some kind of operating system for the classroom, when we would build it, what would it be? And then we came up with, well, it would basically be BigBlueButton. So why not just take what we have and try to work with that, and maybe structure it a little bit different for what we can do. So yeah, I generated these images with some AI tool, and the more futuristic it gets, the more screens are there. I'm not sure if that really is the case, but screens do help also with BigBlueButton, also to have several of them, but I will come to that later. So BigBlueButton has several benefits for the classroom, and I just quickly go through this, because you would also like to have maybe real-time sharing of slides, working together there, and maybe even share your screen so that students can share their screen and share what they're working on the beamer, on the presentation of the classroom. You also have breakout rooms that you could use for learning in groups in the classroom. Like I said, we already have a user interface that most people are used to. It's also a low-level entry, because you don't need to install some kind of software, which is always nice for our students. Of course, accessibility is a real feature to bring this also to the physical classroom, because live transcriptions can really help people, like we will have, and we already have in some cases in BigBlueButton, but it can really help people who have impaired hearing. Also, people who might not be able to actually travel to the classroom to somehow get there, they can easily learn from home. So this, I think, is also a huge feature. Like I said, we have an integration, and Fred always says this as well, like the LMS integration. And I think this is also an important part. The more is coordinated online in the LMS, the more you want to have this in the classroom as well, and BigBlueButton can bridge this. Especially with the plugins that are coming up in 3.0. So I think there is a lot of stuff that can be done. And of course, what is less important in Germany, mainly for privacy concerns, but you have the analytics that BigBlueButton gives you, the learning analytics dashboard. I think for many people this is an important fact. You could also use this not online, but also in the classroom, and what might come in the future, the AI tools that might get integrated and might be developed yet. I think this conference here will give us a lot of ideas of this, what might be there to come in the future. Of course, there are a lot of challenges as well. Everybody, I think, who tried hybrid teaching knows that this is not easy to do, and usually you have a very difficult balance between how to balance out the content that you how you collaborate online and how you collaborate in place, and usually one or the other group gets left out or gets left behind somehow, and so I think it's very important that both groups are considered first-class citizens in this setting, and technology in some ways might help us to achieve this, or at least we have the hope that it will do this. But technology is also its own problem in many other ways, because rooms are all, of course, different from the setup. You have different screens, you have different end devices, speakers, microphones, cameras. Maybe they are there, maybe they're not there. You never know how they will look like. And usually, even in one institution, they do not all look the same. So you somehow have to dynamically adjust to what is there. Also, you need, of course, an internet connection that is working well. And one of the biggest challenges turns out to be audio, usually, because you somehow need to adjust for the room size, for the echo, for feedback loops and all of this. So there are a lot of pitfalls that somehow this technology needs to, that we are trying to create, needs to adjust or address them. And yeah. This, I think we need to keep in mind when we do this. So, and with this, I will talk a little bit about the technological part of this. And like I said before, we are not yet somewhere where this actually works well, but I think we made some good groundwork on how we can get there, and that we can show people that this is actually something that we want to do. So something that is very easy to do, that basically everybody can try out at home. We in our meeting room, we just have a small PC, a small computer like an Intel NUC or something, where we have a BigBlueButton running. We have a meeting camera in the middle of the room which gives a 360 degrees view of the room, and we have actually this little device which I very much like, which is a Elgato Stream Deck, that we just, for this setting, we just programmed it in a way that we used the keyboard shortcuts of BigBlueButton to manipulate the BigBlueButton UI. So when you press one of these buttons, like microphone mute, it actually uses the keyboard shortcut for BigBlueButton microphone mute, and you get muted in the online meeting, or you can unmute yourself. So this is something that works just out of the box very easily. And you can do it now, right, with any BigBlueButton version. This is something we tried, and we actually use it like this. But of course, this is not yet the best possible way to do it. Like ideally, we still need to click here somewhere and sometimes manipulate this on the screen stuff, which you can do, but also you maybe do not want to, because as a teacher, you're usually already struggling with a lot of the material preparation, and the students, you don't want to get yourself concerned as well with how the technology is working. So we really want to improve upon that and make this as easy as possible. By the way, this is another cool example. I think when you, with a new TL Draw whiteboard, when you just maximize it on these smart boards, you can actually write on these boards. You can collaborate from the room and online on the whiteboard, which is really nice. We really like this. It works pretty much out of the box with the smart boards that we have here in the meeting rooms. So I actually drew this on the smart board, and you can see it online as well. So this is also a very nice feature of the TL Draw whiteboard. But yeah, then, like I said, we want to manipulate the UI maybe even more, and maybe want to do more stuff. Then we tried around with, of course, automating it in some way with Selenium scripts or what have you. And this is all very hacky and not something that you want to maintain forever. It also serves mainly as a proof of concept of what could be done. And even if you think further, and this is an image I got from NConf, they also did a lot of research into this, especially Bruno and his team. Thank you very much for sharing this image with me that I like to show now at every occasion where I talk about this. You have this is basically a concept of what it could look like, right? You could have your BigBlueButton session on the main screen. You maybe have a little screen on the side where you can show other things like the chat or the participants. Maybe you can distribute the different UI components of BigBlueButton on different screens. You might have your QR code to more easily invite students from the classroom into the session so that you can actually just join the session with a QR code from your phone or something. Then on the phone, you might have a different view of BigBlueButton because if you are already there in person, you usually don't need video and audio. Especially having audio might even be a problem because of the feedback loops. So you maybe want to have just a simplified view of the BigBlueButton client, which just gives you the opportunity to show reactions or answer questions or participate in the chat or the different functionalities that might be there in your BigBlueButton session. So when you come to think of it, you get a lot of ideas of what could be done. Of course, like when we talk about the plugins, you will still have even more ideas of how to integrate different learning tools into the classroom. So this is why we got together in Berlin. Like I said, a lot of ideas were already around. A lot of ideas were already being discussed beforehand, also in previous developer summits. But in the Dev Summit in Berlin last year, a couple of us got together to discuss this and see how we could actually get somewhere with this technology. And so we came up with this list. So what you probably need, some kind of room appliance. Like I said before, we have this little Intel NUC in our rooms, but you need somehow a computer in the room that connects to all the room's hardware, like the cameras, the microphones, and all of this. So this is something we would need to implement. You need, of course, a BigBlueButton meeting, but as it turns out, you need a BigBlueButton meeting that you can somehow manipulate, as I said before. So this was very great working together with the BigBlueButton core developers from IMDT and Blindside and MConf that we were able to at that developer summit also to adjust some of the functionalities in BigBlueButton 3.0 so that it can support this kind of interaction with the room appliance and also with the plugin that is needed to connect the meeting to the room. And this is the last component that you need. You need somehow a server or some kind of service that connects the meeting and the room appliance. And these three things were developed. You can see actually this presentation from the Developer Summit online. So I encourage you to go there and look it up there. I will share the link at the end of this presentation as well. But if you zoom in, basically what was done is this. Like I said before, we have this appliance that connects to the different devices in the room. You have this meeting now with GraphQL and the HTML5 plugin running on the server that can connect, that can communicate with the application and with the pairing server, so that this pairing server can actually somehow broker the connection between the appliance and the meeting. Yeah, this we were able to actually achieve this. Like I said, have a look at this, at the presentation from Daniel Schreiber and Samuel Weyrich about this. This basically works, and you can then, when you go back to the this graph, you can actually manipulate this room setup in a way that you would like to, because like I said, you might have different setups. You might want to change also which component is shown on which screen. That you somehow need to adjust this. Maybe you want to even dynamically change this during the meeting. Then you again maybe want to have your stream deck where you can just press a button and say, now I want the chat maximized, or now I want now I want the whiteboard in focus. And this is actually something where the basic technology now exists. I'm not saying that it is production ready, but it works, and we were able to show that this will be possible to do with BigBlueButton 3.0. So what we are doing right now is getting this closer to production. So what we want to do now is moving this proof of concept into a state that could actually be deployed, add some more functionality. This is something we then want to work on, also in really in collaboration with the community of BigBlueButton, to simplify this process as much as possible. Like I said, I think teachers and students are not interested in a lot of hassle with the technology. They just want that things work, and they want to work that they work smoothly and intuitively. And this is something that we do not yet know how to do it. So we need to figure it out when we have something running in more than one test room. So this is something which is basically the next step we need to get to, I think. These now I'm coming to the end already. These are the resources I think you need to check out. Screenshot this. This is the GitHub repository where you can work together with us. Also look at the demo video of how this actually worked on the Dev Summit, the proof of concept. And then please get in touch with us. Please talk to us if you're interested in this. If you want to use this, talk to us. If you want to improve this, talk to us. If you want to fund this, of course, talk to us. And in any way, if you find this interesting, just talk to either me or one of the other developers involved. Thank you very much for being here. And I'm very interested in knowing what you think of this. Just let me copy paste the links here.
Thank you, Timo. That was great. Just opening the veil in terms of all the work that's going on behind the scenes in the community, and how, if people like the project, really it's the people behind it that are making this all possible. And it's not just developers, but it's the teachers, it's the schools, it's the organizers in the community. It is some of the organizations, some of the universities paying money or contributing money towards the project. And this all takes coordination and effort. So really glad for you to share what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. Oh, like I said, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right. If there's any questions, we have time for like 1 or 2 questions, and then we'll stop the recording. And if not, no worries. But anyone, feel free to ask a question.
Some people typing in the chat. Feel free to also join with your microphone if you have a question. Oh, these are 2 questions that I'm not really sure how to answer, because I think this is out of the scope of this talk.
Right. So what I'll do is I'm going to suggest I'll pause it. I'll stop the recording here. And again, thank you, Timo. That was a great presentation.
Thank you very much.